Hi Cancer, here is a general look at your solar chart for October 2014. Now if you've listened to the other video I made, the link to which will be here somewhere, about the eclipses of 2014, including October, you'll have a bit of a handle on the meaning of them and also the potential of them. So there's going to be two eclipses in October, in fact a lot going on in October. Along with the eclipses, we got a nice, beautiful pattern in the sky called a grand fire trine, but I'll more on that in a moment. So this is the final month of eclipses of the year, and it will bring to a conclusion the lessons and also the changes that have been going on connected to the eclipses in 2014. Now the first eclipse is on October the 8th this month, and that's in Aries at the top of your chart, Cancer, and it means that there will be the opportunity to make a shift in gears to do with anything to do with the career area, but also it's to do with how you are interacting with others, because the axis that it's on is the I-U axis, and those have been going on all year. So October the 8th is the moment of adjustments or going to the next level with something, and you may have gone in that direction of travel maybe earlier, maybe at the last new moon, or there was some kind of move forwards at the last new moon that was at the back end of September. But it does put the ball in your court, so you need to be honest with yourself about things. But talking of things, the more you do your own thing, and first you need to know what your own thing is, not what others tell you it ought to be, but what it is. The more you do your own thing within the parameters of your obligations and agreements and so on to the other, the more rewarded you're likely to feel in important relationships, particularly related to the career area, but also related to home and family. So use what you've learned from experiences earlier on in the year to approach things in a different kind of a way, to maybe make that crucial positive step or improvement of whatever kind it is. Maybe it's about property. It can even be about that. Definitely time for you to change your signal, because this eclipse is connecting to Uranus. So it's a very interesting eclipse. In fact, both of them are. This lunar eclipse is conjuncting Uranus, the planet of revolution, change, awakening. So if you can change your signal by really coming at things in a different kind of way, not getting so stuck in historical expectations or just knee-jerk responses, well, this is the way it always was, I'm just going to hang out here and suffer until it gets back to the way it always was, then you can do quite well. You can start radiating differently and putting out a different pulse, as it were. As we walk around the world, we're always pulsing. We're just pulsing, to do with our mood, to do with our thoughts, to do with our core frequency, no matter what our sort of more superficial thoughts and moods are. And if you do that, this will draw to you what or who you need on that new signal frequency. It's pretty cool, really. So this eclipse, as I say, is strongly influenced by Uranus. The fresher you feel, the clearer you are for the need for positive change, going on to the next stage, moving on, moving forwards, maybe not in the way you expect, maybe not with the tools you expect, or the sort of the location even that you expect. The more benefit you will feel from this eclipse, or maybe it's equipment. I'm going to sneeze. No, not. It can be like there's got to be something fresh and new with you being able to use this eclipse energy, which is simply the energy of change. It's not a bad or a good thing. It's just an eclipse. But it's tagged very closely to Uranus. Uranus, new beginnings, right? Uranus, the awakener, okay? And Uranus is also about making new friends, connecting in with a new collective, or connecting in with the collective in a new kind of a way. It might be in a material way, like with equipment, but it might be just with a new approach, with sort of like turning over a new leaf. Sort of, that was the word that came up, a freshness. Okay, so it's not you alone that is creating with this vibrational weather of the eclipse. Also, the universe will be creating, as it always does. It creates and creates and creates and creates and creates throughout all eternity, and it expands and expands and expands. So the universe will create from it and manifest events or conditions or opportunities, which you might have to be quite quick on, quick-witted to grab, which encourage or even force new growth. Now, there's always a little bit to pay on there's always a tax to pay on Uranus in these times, because Pluto is very much connecting into Uranus, and Pluto is about the letting go in order for the fresh green shoots to come up. But there's a lot of struggle going on in the world, because this, of course, on a larger stage is affecting the whole world. There's a lot of conflict and tension and power struggles going on. Okay, but we just take this right down and decrease it in size and make it sort of go from the macro to the mini sort of level, then you can see that there is always a bit of a tab to pick up with anything Uranian at the moment, because of Pluto being so closely onto Uranus. It might be your own inability to see outside of the box on something, because you're not used to, oh, I don't do that, or I would never see myself going that way, or allowing myself to, demean myself even. Of course, we have to be sensible here, right? You don't want to be demeaning yourself, but that might just be where you're stuck in your head, you see, but it might not. So it's up to you to judge. And moving on, this is a very progressive feeling, this eclipse coming up in Aries, right? There might be a little bit of challenge with it, but it's a very, very good progressive feeling. And then there's the grand fire trine, which is got one corner of it pegged onto there. So we've got this triangular configuration in the sky, and one part of it has got like a pin through it onto Uranus. And this is a gift. It really is. It came in late September and early October. It's very full of promise. It's very creative. It's very entrepreneurial. It's full of potential, healing, freeing. It just could be that, rabbit out of the hat. It's a little bit of fairy dust. This is a moment to take a leap of faith, being sensible, of course. So watch the space on or near October the 8th. In fact, within the 24 hours of October the 8th, take one step, no matter how small, in that direction. Set up the precedent that sets the intention of the energy, which will flow over many, many months. Potentially many months, well, a few months. And this promising configuration in the sky does, mean that something fresh can come in and newness can flourish. Of course, it's always dependent on the emphasis of these transits in your natal chart, where they connect to in your natal chart, to get a really clear idea of how this may be panning out. And of course, you never get all the answers, not even with a natal chart, but you get a much sort of more like zoom out Google map kind of idea. And then there's going to be this other eclipse, which is a solar eclipse, which you guys in North America will be able to see. I'm very envious. And that one is happening in Scorpio, conjuncting Venus. So this again is a very unique energy, a very strong, rather beautiful energy actually for you, Cancer, because it's coming at your sign in a very, very positive angle to your sign. and it's on the Taurus Scorpio axis, and the lessons of that, and the unfolding and the fruiting of that has been going on throughout the whole of 2014, and that will be in the area for you around children, youngsters, pets, animals, but also investments, maybe leisure pursuits, creative pursuits, connecting into property, possessions, your deeper connections, your heart connections, and also your feel-good factor. So, you know, connecting into this thing or these people or that young person or pet is where my heart is, where my power is. You know, this is where my feel-good factor lies. Or it could be something else, because it's a very artistic area. This is also an area to do with romantic connections as well. This solar eclipse here, again, for you is very, very good if you use it within the 24-hour slot of the eclipse. Putting, you know, for an improvement, for a positive change to come in, making that intention, no matter how small, you know, even just writing it down maybe would be enough within that 24-hour period. And that energy picks up the thread of it and then weaves it on into the many months to come. And these will be, this could be a 6 to 12 month period in the future. Now, what else is going on in October 2014? Well, in general, the sun is in an area which is kind of to do with your home or where you're located, to do with family, and a base of operations, community matters, neighborhood matters, neighbors. It could be about buying and selling or renting and leasing for some of you, you know, a space, inside, outside, that kind of thing. Until the 11th, Mercury is in a very innovative sector of your chart. It's creative, the creative juices are flowing. So if you're doing something to a space, you're feeling creative about it, you're getting, you know, you're getting your hands on this and acquiring that, and connecting with people around, and just ideas, you know, bouncing off others. You play with ideas, you speculate, maybe a little wildly on this or that or the other possibility, and it's quite a relaxed area. It's a spontaneous area here where you can be very creative and inspired at this time, but it's also the area to do with young people, children, animals, romantic partnerships as well. Then on the 11th, Mercury goes retrograde for the rest of the month and goes back into Libra. And there puts Mercury in the same place as the Sun. So discussions and inner thoughts could be revolving around family matters, around neighborhood, around tribe, community, property, and things a bit slowed down. Maybe you not getting the answer back that you were expecting in the time frame that you were expecting it, or maybe things just taking longer, or maybe you having to go over something again. Whatever it is, it's simply because of Mercury being retrograde. Correspondence and speculation may be about a physical space, a place on the map. You're mulling things over. Maybe you're feeling a bit emotional, a bit nostalgic, and whatever's going on, feelings tend to be nearer the surface. It's easier to push your buttons, so just be aware of that. And it can be quite a mentally busy time at home, actually, on the home patch. Or there's a lot of flitting around, or there's a lot of others around, you know, that kind of interfere, you could say, or just break the monotony of the routines or whatever. So it does look, yeah, it does look quite full of distractions, that energy there on the home patch. For the time that Mercury is in Libra at the root of your chart. Now, for the rest of the month, or rather not for the rest of the month, until the 24th, Venus is beaming a very friendly, sociable light into the root of your chart. So there could be guests coming. There could be you being the visitor and being somebody else's guest. You enjoying a space or a place or a locality, and you enjoying the interaction with family or within tribe, or it could be a venue where you all meet up together. It could be a good time to just appreciate where you are and who you're with, and also vice versa, for them to be appreciating where you are and being with you. And then Venus moves out of there and goes into what I call the House of Fun, which is in the same area as the Sun is going to be in then, yes. Because the Sun is moving into this brighter, less inward, more extrovert, more fun sort of area on the 23rd. So you're going to get Venus and the Sun there together. That's a really good combination, and that could manifest in opportunities for you to be in environments or to do things, to have interactions that really make you feel good, that are really got that empowerment within you there. And you appreciate it, but others are also appreciating your ability or just you know, as well. So it's that feeling of being a little bit special, you know, because I manage this, or somebody else thinks I am, or indeed, you know, you're looking into the eyes of a child or a pet or something, and there's that lovely sort of unconditional love, waves of it coming towards you. It can be something like that. So you really being aware that that energy is around for you to drink deeply from at this time in the month. Now Mars is in an area where you can get organized, where you can get busy with chores, work, and you can be useful. You can make yourself useful. You can be rolling up your sleeves. You can be seeing to repairs and maintenance, that kind of thing, but also looking into diet and exercise for yourself or for another. And this is an area where you get the chance to learn new skills, but also to polish up your own, and where you can just be productive, you know, be able to look back over your shoulder and say at the end of the day, I did all that today, that's good, you know, that kind of sort of feeling there. And then Saturn is in the area of Scorpio, the area of the eclipse as well, but it's a very positive angle to your sun sign. And this is a very long transit starting in October 2012, going on until, well, it stops on Christmas Eve this year, 2014, but will come back in again after a few months in 2015. So, but more on that later. So here you're slowly building through children, through young ones, through leisure pursuits, through things that really ring your bell, you know, things that you love to do. Through investments, speculations, enterprises, maybe a bit risky, but it's all to do with the creative impulse. And you've got to be disciplined. You've got to be step by step. You've got to put up with adverse situations or negative criticism or just slowness in that area there, or just feeling ever so small and nobody really appreciates you, nobody is really getting you, and so you've got to work at it, you've got to make it more, you've got to make it your own territory. You have to create from your core and be true to yourself, to your core. Know yourself more and more, because those confirmations tend not to be coming so much from the outside world. There will be some, of course, but it's like a little bit like you're pushing hard on something and not getting a lot of feedback. Or you might not be pushing so hard, you might just feel like, oh, you know, what's the use? Well, do not be disheartened, because this is a Saturn energy, and Saturn demands perseverance. Saturn demands a rather dogged approach, and you'll get there in the end with whatever the enterprise, the project, the relationship, which is, you know, just makes it just that little bit harder on you, because it's something to do with the it's something to do with the circumstances. Just makes it a little bit slower and a little bit more complicated. However, you will get there in the end. And you Cancerians born in the last 10 days of beginning of the well, it's the end of the middle 10 days and actually the beginning of the last 10 days. Or with 19 to 21 degrees rising are going to be feeling this energy the most in this forecast period. And then Jupiter is in the area of your piggy bank. Well, this isn't bad. You know, actually, I should say that you can make a lot out of this. And by the time this video goes out, it'll be another 10 months to run. Well, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, about 10 months to run, 10 and a bit months to run of that transit of Jupiter in your money house. It's also your house of property matters and possessions in general, but also resources. So if you've got a really adverse transit somewhere else in your chart, your natal chart, or even your sun sign chart, to do with the piggy bank, to do with property, possessions, then this transit at least will be the buffer. It will mean that things will not go that badly, not as badly as they might have done. But if you haven't got an adverse transit anywhere else, which is kind of pulling the energy down a bit, then you can do really extremely well with this one. And I should correct myself, you could probably do extremely well with it. Even if you do, it depends on your character and your experience, etc., etc., and where you're at in your life. But until next August, just be open to whatever resource, knowledge, or experience might help you to expand mentally or physically into new, fresh territories, because that is going to feed your piggy bank. Even though on the face of it, it might not seem that you're doing it for that reason, it will seem like this is something I know I need to do. I'm feeling a good feeling about this. But then, you know, the figures don't stack up, or in fact, there aren't any figures. It's just like you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, and then, hey, presto, it turns into something, you know, materialistically, which can do you, which can be very beneficial for you down the line. And Jupiter here will also help you to decide, to help you really, really sense and weigh and feel and know what is of the highest priority to you now at this stage in your life, what you've got to put first, which are not the things maybe that you used to put first on your life's journey. And it will help you to realize your own worth as well, because this is the area, Cancer, of your talents. And, you know, the story of the widow's mite, you know, if you don't use that talent, that God-given gift, and really kind of sort of push the boundaries of it and explore it, then you regret that maybe when you get too old to do so. So this is the time for you to really start exploring quite seriously, and have a bit of a learning curve on, you know, well, what if I could, you know, what if I did get this because somebody wants my knowledge, somebody is appreciating what I can contribute, and they're willing to give me a fair, you know, reward for that. So yeah, work on that talent, work on that leaning that you have in a certain direction, and say, I'm actually going to go that way because that's where I feel good. You know, that's really where I feel good, and that's what I'd like to be doing more of. And you Cancerians born in the middle 10 days, or the beginning of the last 10 days, or with 15 to 21 degrees rising, going to feel this energy the most. And I just need to correct myself about the Saturn one. it's the 19 to 25 degrees rising, you're going to be feeling this energy the most, which is actually in the last 10 days, or the very, very end of the middle 10 days. And that's it. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those, and it'll give us a different slant on what I've said here, maybe or maybe not. But just connect with what resonates with you and chuck away the rest. And listen to that video on the eclipse, October 2014 eclipses. And I'll see you the next time.